All right, this next band is one you may or may not have heard of. They were leaders for breaking down some of the gender barriers, I guess you could call them, in the metal scene. This band is called Kittie, and the song is We Are Shadows. If you don't know about Kittie, I definitely suggest checking into their history. They got an interesting history. Quite a tumultuous one over the last, 20 years since they originally came out. But anyway, the core of the original group of women are here to kick you in the face and kick me in the face. So let's give their new song, We Are Shadows by Kittie, a listen and see how it goes. Is it really, really going to kick our face off? I think it might. So. Groovy as always. Oh, and does she have the guitar? I think she does. I think she does. Yeah. Fucking A, Solar. Someone that's hanging on my wall behind me. I love that guitar. Solar. Oh my god. Good shit. Good shit. I think she's playing an Epiphone. Or just a straight up Gibson, maybe. I like the, there you go. Good old Kittie stuff. Getting scratchy. Yeah, definitely sounds like a Gibson. Looks like a Gibson. So I hadn't seen the video. I knew they came out with new stuff. And I gotta say I'm very happy to see them step back into the scene. Having not gotten weak, not stepped back, not faltered. They just step back into the scene as heavy or heavier than they ever were. Which is badass. Of course, they had always had that nu metal heaviness. Like, they were heavy for nu metal in the sense that they were basically just heavy. And they weren't specifically nu metal. They didn't do rapping. They didn't do any of that, Limp Bizkit crap. Like, they verge more towards, like, death metal or metalcore or screamo or something than they do nu metal. But they were lumped into that quite often back in the day. This video is awesome. I love it. The symbolism is great. And also, complete side note, but did they not like drink heavily? Did they not do drugs? Because in all seriousness, they look healthy. Like they look like they're doing good to themselves, good for themselves, which is badass. I always feel bad when some of these bands get back out there and they look like they're going to die on the stage, and there's always bands that just buck the trend to the nth degree. Like, of course, there's Rolling Stones, which is a famous one. Those dudes look 90, But holy shit, you see them move around up there and perform, and you're like, are they 90? Has the devil infused them with the blood of the youth? Like, what? Wow. You know, and even Judas Priest, like, yeah, those dudes move slower now, sure. But they're still playing some of the most wildly intricate heavy metal out there in existence. They're all like 70 in Judas Priest. So, you know, it's always nuts when bands get back together. Of course, Kittie they're not 70. They're, I don't know, young 40s, early 40s, whatever, late 30s, I think. But I mean, I could totally be wrong about that. I guess maybe they were in their late teens when they got famous 20 years ago. So that'd put them in their, you know, 30s-ish, maybe 40s-ish, whatever. But they look like they're doing great for themselves and you know, healthy. They're not struggling in their movements around the stage. So that's great to see. I love it when bands come back and they have done right by themselves. They're not all like falling over. You know, but at the same time, you know, drug use so often is hand in hand with music, so it's a bit rough, and you kind of assume the worst sometime, especially when a band comes back out from who knows where, and you're like, oh God, those dudes are struggling. And then of course there's other bands like Slayer where, you know, half of them had died or whatever. So that's the other case, you know. But yeah, it's great to see Kittie back on the scene, putting out some music that's solid music, not just like some regurgitation of something that's meh. I've seen that happen a few times over the years too. With that, that's a thumbs up. I think I'll go subscribe to their channel. I wasn't subscribed already because I didn't even know they had a channel anymore. I didn't honestly know what the hell they were up to. So good to see them back. Good to see them putting out some stuff like this. That was entertaining. I will probably pick up that album. Maybe even go back in time and pick up the previous album. But we'll see. We'll see. With that, it's getting heavier from here. There is heavier stuff coming your ways in some of the subsequent reaction videos. In the meantime, keep thrashing as always, and I'll catch you then.